May 2021. A 12-year-old student of Effingham Heights Primary School in Durban North, South Africa, conducted a dangerous TikTok experiment which eventually led to his death. Raphael Jake, who was in grade 7, put sanitizer liquid into a bowl and lit it up with matches. If this experiment went as expected, he might have a little pain in his hand and thousands of views on his video. This TikTok challenge was known as the Sanitizer Challenge. You rub sanitizer around your hand, set it on fire, and record yourself inflicting pain for everyone to see. Please don't try this challenge because it can hurt you. It didn't just hurt Jake though, it killed him. As he set the sanitizer on fire, the bowl exploded. Fire caught up with the young boy's clothes and he started screaming in agony. Jake was rushed to the hospital where he was diagnosed with 2nd and 3rd degree burns.
Now the preteen suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns and will have to undergo several surgeries and skin grafts.
3rd degree burn is a medical term used to describe the burns that damage all 3 layers of skin: epidermis, dermis, and often extend into the underlying fatty tissue. Except for the 4th degree, this is the most painful burn anyone can experience, and it must have been hell on earth for a 12-year-old. Sadly, Raphael Jake's story took a devastating turn on June 6, 2021 as he was diagnosed with septicemia, a severe blood poisoning as a result of an infection due to the burns. Jake died and was buried on Friday, June 11, 2021. Later in this video, I'll tell you what Jake's mother said about this incident. For now, this video will focus on how TikTok is poisoning the whole world and how that poison is more dangerous in Africa than elsewhere.
Now to this. She went from planning Christmas to planning a funeral. A local mom says her 12-year-old son is dead because of a TikTok challenge.
TikTok challenge turned deadly. A 13-year-old boy from Ohio overdosed on Benadryl.
Drownings that were easily avoidable. They were doing a TikTok challenge.
The mother of a 10-year-old Delaware County girl who died from a TikTok challenge is now suing the social media giant.
Her teenager died while trying to complete a challenge on TikTok.
The teen from Massachusetts recently just died.
Died.
TikTok is a special kind of hell.
Imagine you're a 67-year-old African man. One day, you see a 15-year-old girl giggling and smiling for hours as she scrolls through her phone. Out of curiosity, you ask her to let you see her phone. You are carried away immediately. Scrolling through short videos of some kids dancing and doing some silly things could be fun. And it was fun. Until you saw this. This particular video stopped you. You swiped up, then back to the clip. Your eyes are not too bad yet. This is Abigail, your 13-year-old granddaughter. Abby! You shouted loud enough for her to hear your voice inside the phone. Sorry, but she can't hear you. You're heartbroken. Growing up in Nigeria in the 70s, you remember how everybody was expected to dress modestly. Morality was as serious as religion, and not even grown-up women would perform suggestive moves as you see Abigail doing. Women who dressed like this were called ashewo, meaning prostitute. Now in 2024, millions of 13-year-olds are entertaining the whole world with their bodies. These kids barely wear any clothes while performing suggestive dances, many of which are too disturbing to show in this video. But you know what I'm talking about. Do you really think this is fun or free? Do you think a generation of people can do this and not taste a grave repercussion as a result? You see, suggestive and explicit content like what this young lady and millions of others published through TikTok results in 2 things. First, these young girls are inviting boys and men who want to use that thing between the girls' legs. Second, consuming such content makes you want to use the thing between your legs. At the end of the day, we as a society are producing kids who end up using the bedroom at the age when they should be learning how to use the kitchen. Then you may want to ask, so what? How is that a bad thing? Well, scientific studies have shown that early bedroom experience is destructive to human life. According to this 2020 study by the National Library of Medicine, teenagers who start using bedroom early are more likely to experience mental health issues, including substance use. This 2022 publication by Psych Central shows that such teens are more prone to anxiety, while this study found that starting to use bedroom early makes you more likely to have depression. Do you really think these three things are good for our 15-year-olds? The reason why early bedroom experience potentially causes mental health issues for kids is because the power we use in the bedroom is the most powerful of all human powers. Hence, it could destroy a young mind. In his 1932 book, Brave New World, the English philosopher Aldous Huxley wrote, "The sexual impulse is the most powerful single force in human personality, and unless it is handled intelligently, it will inevitably drag us down into the mud." Think about this. Even some of the most powerful and most intelligent people in the history of our world destroy their lives, careers, or reputations due to their inability to control the thing between their legs. So let me ask you, if it's so difficult for even grown-ups, highly intelligent people to control the object between their legs, how can it even be possible for 13-year-old kids? And if the inability of the grown-ups to control that thing leads to their downfall and destruction, how can we be so naive to think creating or consuming explicit content on TikTok would not destroy 13, 14, or 16-year-olds?
TikTok is ruining a generation. It's coming into all of our lives and it is trying to destroy us from within. That is not being hyperbolic. I genuinely believe that there should be more distrust in the TikTok app itself. It is a dodgy app. It is not safe. It is not good. And you should be aware of what is happening with it.
But TikTok doesn't give kids mental health issues only by pushing them to the bedroom early. Just by using TikTok, you increase the likelihood of messing up your mind. According to a study from University of Minnesota computer science researchers, even though TikTok created a community for people who have mental health issues, the platform was designed to trap kids into a rabbit hole of negative content that's nearly impossible to escape. When you expose enough of such content to teens who by nature have weak self-control, the result is depression and anxiety.
A new study by an online monitoring group suggests that TikTok may be pushing harmful content to its young users.
Some experts believe the technology that drives TikTok and other social media sites can promote depression, eating disorders, and drug abuse in children and teens.
Students with higher TikTok addictions had higher anxiety, higher depression, and worse memories.
This is the strangest phenomenon. Teenage girls showing up at their doctor's office with these strange tics, these strange movements, jerking movements. Nobody could figure out why until now. According to a recent Wall Street Journal article, doctors say all the girls have one thing in common. They're watching TikTok videos of people with Tourette's syndrome, which is a neurological disorder that can cause physical tics.
TikTok is quicksand for your brain.
Aside from early exposure to explicit and dangerous content, TikTok is an addictive platform that encourages you to mindlessly scroll through more and more videos and waste hours of your life each day doing just this.
If your experience of TikTok is like mine, then you'll know that it's basically like digital crack cocaine. You open this app, you start swiping, and before you know it, 3 hours of your life is gone and you've achieved basically nothing.
According to a new report, nearly half of adolescent girls on TikTok report that they feel addicted to it or that they use the platform for significantly longer than they intend to.
I'd definitely done all-nighters on TikTok before. I had just been scrolling until the sun came up.
Not only is TikTok addictive in the psychological sense of dopamine hits, but the almost perfectly curated algorithm keeps people scrolling.
It is extremely dangerous. I have thrown my phone on numerous occasions because I realized like 45 minutes has passed. I thought 5 minutes have passed.
You see in this chart that the average United States TikTok user spent 25.7 hours on the app every month. What makes this stat crazier is that it's more than Facebook and Instagram combined.
Far the most addicting social media application.
So addictive.
First of all, on a personal level, it's easy for us to understand that life is about time. Even though we all have 24 hours each day, if Joe diligently invests 10 hours each day and Johnson only invests 5 hours, all things being equal, in the future, Joe will be far more successful than Johnson. Second of all, on the continental or country level, when most of your young people waste gazillions of hours each day on things that don't add value to their minds or the productivity of their country, you're in a big mess. For example, according to this publication by Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, the average output per worker in sub-Saharan Africa declined from 11.9% in 1960 to 7.7% in 2017, whereas for East Asian countries, labor productivity increased from 8.5% in 1960 to 28.3% in 2014. What do these numbers mean? It means adults from countries such as China, South Korea, and Japan are far more productive than adults in sub-Saharan Africa. But why? One reason is because the above-mentioned countries are more industrialized, which means more of their economies are being run by machines, which eventually leads to higher productivity per worker. Another reason could be that some of these countries use social media less than some African countries. For example, according to this 2021 Statista.com study, an average person in Japan spends just 51 minutes per day on social media, while an average Nigerian spends more than 4 hours every day on social media. If Africa is ever going to catch up with the rest of the world, if Africa is ever going to industrialize and grow its economy, African youths must be educated, ambitious, creative, focused, and productive. How is any of this remotely possible if you mindlessly scroll through a poisonous app for 5 hours every day? But it's even worse than that. Look at this lady, then this lady, and this lady. Who among these women would you say is the most beautiful? It doesn't matter who you choose, all these women are beautiful. But do you really think these women feel beautiful? Let me ask you a personal question. How many times have you seen a woman and said to yourself, "This is a perfect work of God," only to know that this woman is complaining that her nose is too big, her two balls are too small, her legs are too tiny, her eyes are too blue, or her teeth are not teething? Many women even complain about one thing, do plastic surgery to get the opposite of that thing, then after 3 months start complaining about their new look. These creatures seem to have been possessed by some unknown spirit. But no, they are not possessed by any spirit. Instead, they are exposed to millions of unrealistic women's faces and body parts, which then make them feel ugly, even though they are queens. From TikTok's beauty mode, which everyone uses, to the blink filter, G6 filter, fantasy filter, V11, inverted filter, color customizer filter, and a million other filters, the end result is that there are no average women online anymore. Look at this. Believe me, the woman by your right is the same with the one by the left. Same as this. This. I mean, the woman by the right side of this picture looks like 1 billion years older than the one by the left. Would you say this is the same person? Yes, she's the same person.
I'm gonna blow your mind. This is my face with a ring light and the bold glamour filter. This is my face with a softer filter and a ring light. No ring light, no filter. And then this is my face in real life, and with the allergic reaction and hives that I am having everywhere. So, yeah.
By exposing our 14-year-old naturally beautiful queens to hundreds of artificial, faked, and filtered beauties, the result is these kids compare their natural beauty with faked, filtered beauty and conclude that they are not beautiful. This then leads to low self-esteem.
I've had a lot of people comment on my videos saying that TikTok made them feel worse about themselves.
We also know that the platforms like Instagram and TikTok that are really focused on like visual representation, where kids are comparing themselves to other people, tend to have worse effects, particularly for girls.
TikTok isn't just shortening your attention, it's killing your self-esteem.
As of the time of publishing this video, the plastic surgery hashtag on TikTok has over 16.4 billion views. Under this big plastic umbrella is everything and anything that can help you change anything and everything you want to change in your body, with the hope of suddenly becoming a perfect human. In his 1960 book, Psycho-Cybernetics, the American cosmetic surgeon Maxwell Maltz wrote, "Plastic surgery cannot change your self-image overnight. The surgeon can change your looks, but only you can change your self-concept. Since surgery doesn't change the way anybody feels about themselves, what we as a society are left with are tens of millions of young people who live with low self-esteem. What else is more dangerous than this? As humans, our self-esteem is like the engine of a car. The quality of the engine determines how fast a car can go or whether the car can start at all. People whose self-esteem has been damaged are as good as a car whose engine has been damaged. Such a vehicle can hardly do any good. That's why in the book I quoted earlier, Maxwell Maltz wrote, "Low self-esteem is like driving through life with the handbrake on. Low self-esteem makes people think they are worthless. It makes people have no faith in their ability, and if they ever need to show that they believe in themselves at all, it often ends up in what psychologists call overcompensation or pseudo-confidence."
Teenagers identifying themselves as Lutwizi have been causing chaos at Gauteng malls, leaving scores calling on police for their arrests. On the weekend, hordes of teenagers belonging to the TikTok challenge group stormed the Mall of Africa in Johannesburg. The challenge stipulates that teenagers storm a mall and cause mayhem for mall customers.
Raphael Jake's family, the family of the boy I told his story at the beginning of this video, claimed that their boy wasn't using TikTok. This even makes the TikTok poison more dangerous because it could mean that that 12-year-old whose parents were diligent enough to keep him off the app still got to learn about such a dangerous challenge from a friend. And this is not to say that TikTok is 100% evil or that every content on TikTok is bad. Saying that would be unfair to TikTok, a platform that has created space for millions of people to express themselves and successful businesses for thousands of people all over the world. It's also unfair if I pretend that other social media platforms are not made of similar ingredients, or that they are all good for nothing. In fact, the internet and social media are parts of the greatest inventions of mankind. But we must also remember fire and electricity. These two are probably as helpful to humanity as the internet, but they are also dangerous, and that's why we don't allow kids near them. If we as parents are wise enough to keep fire and electricity away from 1-year-olds, why can't we keep TikTok away from 13, 15, and 17-year-olds? I know this view is extreme, but so are mental health problems. In this video, I've shared with you how suggestive dances in explicit clothing lead young people to start using bedroom early, and how, according to scientific studies, that potentially leads to substance abuse, anxiety, and depression. I shared how endless scrolling and addictive TikTok apps don't just destroy individuals' ability to pursue their dreams, but also the overall contribution of such people to the growth and development of their countries and continents. This is a big danger for Africa. I shared how harmful content sent to the weak-willed teens leads to nothing but mental health issues, and how our naturally beautiful queens end up with low self-esteem because they are comparing their natural beauty with a TikTok faked, filtered beauty. Here is my last question for this video. If you won't allow your 13-year-old to smoke, drink, or drive because you love her, why would you allow her to use digital cocaine because you love her? Thanks for watching.